Welcome to Viking.TV, and I'm standing on such an iconic place outside Highclere. It's of course the opening shot of Downton Abbey, with a wonderful yellow Labrador walking away from us towards his or her home, the castle. Now in real life we do have all these Labradors, 4 Labradors here at the moment, and it's a great heritage and friendship we share with Viking.TV because Karina Hagen also has one of the Labradors, Finza, who was born here. She was one of my puppies, and whenever she returns for a visit with Karina, it is a joy to see her as well as Karina, isn't it?
It's a great joy to see Finza and Charlie, who's been around here recently, Finza's son.
And of course it all started with Percy.
It all started with the glorious Percy, our wonderful Labrador boy puppy that gambled across the lawn, didn't he? To first meet us all.
I bought him when my son Eddie was 2 years old. I went and bought Percy from a friend of mine who lives just across the field, and he came back and he was such a central part of our life, and I hope he was a lovely dog for Eddie to grow up with. He was so strong and he was so protective, so kind and so friendly. We nicknamed him the Yellow Lion because he was just this wonderful big dog with a lovely old-fashioned big head. Labradors are tremendous family dogs. They're so kind and gentle with children. They just want to be loved and they want to love you. So it is a fantastic breed. We have Labradors, and actually I have Cocker Spaniels, and Rosie, who is somewhere around, she's just behind me. She's got a fantastic punk hairstyle. She's actually 15 years old.
She's doing very well still.
And she was a Christmas present to Geordie and Eddie, my son, 15 years ago.
I remember she came all wrapped up in a pink ribbon in a basket. She had to go back to her mummy because she wasn't really old enough to
And
do
she
that.
came for a couple of hours, and again, Rosie has given us such love and such pleasure.
And then we have Rosie's family here as well. There's Winston and Clemmy and Evie, the youngest one.
Who's also very busy.
Evie's the littlest one, but she's one of the bravest little hunters, really.
So we began with Percy. Percy had a daughter called Bella, who was the most beautiful dog. She was just lovely, and she sadly died about a year ago now. And Bella had 10 puppies. You've got 2 of the puppies here, Alfie and Scooby-Doo. And the other puppy was Finza, who is owned by Karina Hagen. They've all went to my girlfriend, so we have so many related friends by Labrador and cousins.
Stella and Freya are Finza, there you go.
And I might let Stella off because she's definitely going to be there. So we had Bella, and then from Finza came the next generation of yellow Labradors. And I can't tell you the joy and the pleasure they give us. They are just so loving, and I think such beautiful dogs. And again, Finza's puppies had gone off and had homes all around the world to different families who again love them. Rosie, my spaniel, my Christmas present spaniel, with her punk hairstyle, you're looking very good, again had 2 puppies, Winnie and Clemmy, Churchill Carnarvon, very grand, very loving. Winston here always thinks you just adore him. He's always convinced that you love him, and he's very, very optimistic about life, which is a very good thing to be. And then Clemmy, down.
Stella has the most fantastic nose for retrieving things. She finds things. If you ever you throw them or put them, she can find them. She knows the scent. She's brilliant at it.
So we're going to go for a walk, and I want you to come with us to show some of the gardens and all the dogs having a lovely time. So come with us. It is the most beautiful evening today, and it reminds me of all the puppy parties we've had here in September. Because Finza and Alfie and Scooby were born at the end of September, we sort of clump all the birthdays together, and with Karina and all our friends, ask all the puppies who were born here, if they can, to come back. And we have a rather mad evening in September of the puppy party, which is basically out of control happy dogs as well as out of control
having all sorts of treats in large numbers and trying to grab them as fast as they can, really.
Which is quite fun, and I know Viking have got some fantastic footage of that. We thought we might introduce some of the dogs to you. So this one here is Stella. She looks very like her mother Finza, a beautiful pale blonde. I've got all shades of blonde here. This one here, Freya,
Stella's sister,
is
Freya.
Stella's sister. Stella, look this way, darling. How can you see your beautiful face? Come on, this way round. We'll look at you. She's very lovely, and she runs like a greyhound. So fast, don't you? Now, Geordie
It's got Rosie.
Who's our
older friend.
Who's our oldest friend so far, who is doing really well. She has olive oil. Whoops. I've now lost her. Wait, here we go. Now, my darling, come on. And she's got the cutest, I can turn her around, punk haircut. Don't you think? I can just stand it up on end a little bit like that. So this is Rosie with her punk haircut, which for a 15-year-old dog she's doing pretty well, aren't she? And she's got this lovely, lovely white marked face. There we go. You can go now. Wes, wonderful.
Here, we've got Scooby and Alfie.
Yes. So Alfie is quite a character. He's the darkest of the fox red Labrador. Bella's husband was a foxy red Labrador, beautiful dog, and that was the most fox red one. And because I wanted all shades of blonde Labrador, and he was actually the runt of the litter. You'd never know that now. He is an expert
at finding bins.
At finding bins.
And nicking sandwiches.
And he goes into the castle.
And nice things.
And he goes into the castle, and then he kind of slides off from you.
And you never know where he's gone, but he's always by some food.
And he then gets stuck in various rooms and offices, and he shuts himself in the door.
This is Scooby, who actually has rather a good nose finding. He's a good retriever, Scooby, but he's more nervous, which is why he's called Scooby.
And he's Scooby-Doo. My niece Marina named him Scooby-Doo, and she thought it would wind up Geordie as a name, but he's adorable and he's quite shy and he's so cute. Now, who else have I got? Clemmy, Evie, in fact.
Yes, Evie.
Now this is Evie.
Who's the fastest dog for her size
you've ever known.
Yeah.
So this is Evie, who's like a little baby, but actually she shifts incredibly fast. Say hello, Evie. And she's got this little top knot as well, a bit like her granny, because Rosie's her granny. But she's just a really cute little lady. And I've lost
Winston and Clemmy are over there.
Winston and Clemmy are busy digging a hole.
Come on.
The gardeners are actually digging holes to plant cherry trees.
Cherry trees. You won't get them back. They probably found a mouse or something. There you are.
Here is Winston, who's a lovely black spaniel, who is so optimistic, and there's Clemmy. So they're actually about 10 years old. You'd never really know.
They're very quick for 10 years old. They're charging
and they're very quick. So 10 years old, I suppose, is about 70 years old. But they really don't act their age at all, which is simply marvellous. And they have such a lot of fun. So clearly someone might have found something over there to dig up. And they're very busy. Here's Evie to come say hello again. So this is our wonderful troop of 8 dogs. Oh, I think here is Freya. I'm not sure I said hello to Freya. Here we go. She's saying hello really well, aren't you, darling? Now they all sit, shake hands. How do you do? They're all very good at shaking hands, which is fantastic because we can't shake hands with people, but we can shake hands with dogs. Ooh, yes, wonderful. So we're now going to go on a little bit of a further walk and share some other bit of the dog's favourite part of the garden with you. Alfie and Scooby-Doo were actually born in 2012, so it was about the second year of Downton Abbey filming, and so they grew up with their puppyhood at a point of tremendous happiness for them, because of course with a film crew and cast you have catering vans, and they loved the catering vans. I would go for a bike ride with them in the morning and they would stop by the catering vans for their breakfast, and they paid no attention to me.
They would hang around there as long as possible.
I know. And if they ever escaped from anywhere, at least I knew where to find them. They'd be scampering around the back. Another highlight of each and every day for them was at tea time. At tea time, Downton Abbey would put a trestle table outside the front of the castle for all their crew and cast.
Yes, nice things to have at that time of day.
Yep.
Which they thought they ought to join in with.
Which they would join in with. So again, you'd find lots of gold and Labrador bottoms underneath the table, which was always interesting. So and people were very kind and probably fed them a little bit when they maybe shouldn't. But Alfie and Scooby were incredibly happy. And whenever we have a new recce for some film crew or anything else, or an older film crew wrecking again, Alfie and Scooby in particular, love the wrecking. Everybody arrives at the castle and they put their backpacks which they're taking with them throughout the whole day of recce's, down on the floor in the saloon, and off they go round the castle to see what they're shooting.
Bad idea to leave anything on the floor in range, really.
So by the time they come back, they have less lunch than they thought they had. And the number of times I've had to make extra sandwiches or lunch for workmen or car parkers.
What about the time when Percy got to know the sound of the butcher's van, and we were going to have a nice dinner in the castle, and he ran off with a whole side of beef?
Yeah, that was.
He wasn't too well after that. Actually, it wasn't such a good idea, but we had to arrange things differently. He was quite clever, really.
He was. We ended up building a whole sort of wooden
thing, so the
contraption.
could leave things when the castle wasn't open. Yes, but that was a time ago. But Percy was very artful.
He was. Well, his grandsons Alfie and Scooby definitely have the same inherited art. I mean, Labradors obviously came from Labrador in Canada, as far as I understand. And they are really happy in the water and cold weather. They have a sort of double-layered fur, which is a complete water repellent. Now, however cold it is, they are so happy jumping in any muddy pond, muddy puddle, lying down in it makes them really happy. In fact, for Labradors in particular, it's better not to bathe them because you begin to wash out the oils and everything.
Yes, they're very waterproof. If they're particularly smelly, we have to sometimes.
We do.
Yes.
And then they quite like that in the summer. We create a hose.
They like being cooled off in the summer.
They very much like being cooled off.
Yeah.
The Spaniels are somewhat different and are much more cagey around the water, but they are also very adept at rolling.
They can swim pretty well, though.
They can. They can, and they equally well every so often need a really good bath.
But they get much more tangled fur with all the burrs and things in the winter, don't they? In the autumn, they pick up. They run through bushes and they pick stuff up on their coats, which we have to pull out from time to time.
But the Spaniels have such an enthusiastic attitude to life, and every day when you get up,
I love it. When the wildflower meadow just begins to grow in the spring and it gets to a certain height, you see Evie flying around it, just her ears and nose popping up outside when she's chasing something. Very excited she gets.
It is a really lovely sight. They bring such joy every day. And I think during these terrible times of lockdown, they give you a real sense of the cycle of a day, which helps us all keep our feet on the ground. You have to get up in the morning and take them for a walk. They're always incredibly keen on breakfast. They need another walk later on in the day, perhaps a longer one. They're always looking forward to lunch. They definitely think tea should come their way. And one of my favourite times of the day is in the evening at about 10 o'clock when we all exit. The 8 dogs and I, warmly dressed for me, and we walk round the castle, and there's been some amazing starlit nights, and you can see Orion and the Great Bear and Mars, and I've watched Jupiter and Saturn. Really peaceful time of day.
It is. They love scuttling around in the dark, don't they do, running across Castle Peace, the big flat area.
They all have different places in which they sleep. Different sort of havens, if you like, and Freya is quite nervous if she's not allowed back to her own it was originally a cage. It's always open, but that's where she wants to be.
She feels protected in it, yeah.
And Scooby-Doo is the same, and if he's not quite sure what's going on, he'll be back in there and he'll have a look out and see what's going on. And Freya, like her Uncle Scooby, gets a little bit nervous and a little bit shy. It's extraordinary how I think the behaviour genes are also inherited, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, they are. They're all very individual characters.
They are. They give us much joy. Sometimes it does seem a lot of work. They're rustling through all the bushes and everything else behind. But and this garden here is one of their favourite places to run through and go through the back of it into the secret garden and the white borders. I hope they have a really good life here. Do you reckon you have a good life, Jeremy? Yes, you do. They're pretty good at Instagram, so they're pretty good at getting up here. Hop, hop, hop here. Go and sit your girls. Hop. Good girl. Good girls. Go ahead. Let me go. Well done. Hop, hop. Good. Are you going to fit? Well done. Sit, sit, sit. Sit.
Nearly all there.
Nearly all there. So they have lots of fantastic Instagram tricks. Rosie here. Come on, Rosie. See if you'll come and join in. Oh, well done. Here. Move your bottom and she can be there too. Rosie. Rosie. think Rosie thinks, come on Rosie darling, this way. Come on, you're not too old, you're fine, you can join in. Rosie, come here. Sit, 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 sit. Sit, good girl. There we go. What? Don't move.
You've got everyone looking, hopefully.
Beautiful.
Well done. All right. Ella.
Go on then. Go on then. Go on then, off you go.